The UK is splurging what could amount to be billions of pounds on woke diversity schemes despite cuts to public services. Some of these schemes include £841,000 to research the, quote, Europe that gay porn built, and nearly £600,000 for the Jordanian military's gender mainstreaming strategy, whatever that is. We funded a Working with Whiteness pottery workshop. Take a look.
I'm Victoria Berger. I'm an artist and PhD student at the University of Westminster, and my practice-based research uses porcelain to interrogate ideological whiteness. And I was really pleased to have the support of the EDI team and Zara to run a series of workshops for staff and students and the public at the university. And in the workshops, I wanted to use porcelain in a practical way, teaching some basic ceramic skills, but also to see whether it would help to facilitate a discussion about ideological whiteness as power and whiteness as oppression, and how that is an important aspect of any EDI work.
I had a really good experience today. It was really informative, and I appreciated the safe space that it was. It's almost like a confirmation, like, yeah, actually it's okay. We are, what we believe, what we're thinking is the truth, which is strange again because it sort of taps into whiteness. Why do we need to come into a white space for that to be confirmed? So yeah.
Good context to talk about it because it's not super academic, but it's kind of also kind of academically engaged. It's engaged with theory, but it's also really accessible. So I think it's like a really good forum to talk about issues that can be a bit uncomfortable.
And we've given this network more than £1 million. They say they're needed to counter the power of white men.
So it's better for everybody if our academic research society is more inclusive. And also, at the moment, the majority of decision-making positions are, let's face it, held by white men. And if they don't engage in this process, nothing will change.
What government spends its money on has come into sharp focus since Donald Trump came back to the White House. He and Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE. They have cut funding to DEI projects, which has infuriated those who had been profiting.
First, it was Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk and all of those evil people who have decided to just erase all of the work we've been doing for the last 15 years. BLM, the Pride movement, the diversity, equity, inclusion movements, the anti-racism movements, the environmental movements, all of it gone for nothing. It just feels like every step forward we take, we've got to go a million steps back and we're not getting anywhere. We are going backwards. What is the point in being a force for positive change?
Charlotte Gill brands herself as Doge UK and has uncovered a raft of woke spending she calls the tip of the iceberg.
Charlotte, you've been pouring through so much of these elements of government spending. Were you shocked with what you found?
Well, good afternoon to you both. I'm so glad to be here discussing this because it really is astronomically bad. I started researching what I call woke waste. I call it how the taxpayer is funding their own demise in 2023. And it all started when I found that we'd spent £600,000 investigating pregnant men. This was through a research grant. And I just went down a rabbit hole. And what you're looking at the procurement files, it's really engaged so many people on Twitter. I'm actually working with the procurement files, an absolutely incredible researcher. So we are Team Doge UK. But this really is the tip of the iceberg. It's not, I talk about a rabbit hole, but it's a galaxy of waste. All the while, voters have been told, they've been fed this narrative of austerity. And I don't see any of that.
Yeah, we're always told that we need to pay more tax in order to fund our our hapless public services, but actually maybe cutting a little bit of this, these rather bizarre schemes might help us out. But Charlotte, I believe you started looking at sort of grants that are given out to students and PhD students and professors and the like to study their interests. And I'm just reading here one of them, £841,000 towards the Europe that gay porn built, 1945 to 2000. And this was to the Birmingham City University. What's all that about?
Well, I mean, apparently we really need to know about the Europe that gay porn built, 1945 to 2000. I don't know why those dates specifically, but this gentleman who's been funded, they get given these massive grants. Part of it is the universities like the grant system because they get to take a nice slice. But this chap, he's Portuguese and he's living in Sweden studying gay porn.
And we're paying for it.
I'm not joking. This is not unusual. There are a lot of examples. We're told foreign students, they keep the university system alive. We need them. But actually, we're funding masses of them.
Right, isn't this the point? Aren't students supposed to bring money into the UK, not extract? I mean, look, if this bloke wants to investigate gay porn, knock your socks off. It's a free society. Have a wonderful time. But don't make me pay for it.
I don't want to pay for it, mate.
How has almost £1 million gone on? I just don't understand, frankly, how this is actually costing us money.
Well, in total, he's actually had over £1 million in taxpayer grants because this isn't his first taxpayer-funded study, and there's actually another chap on the team who has a history of studying porn, and the guy and his other study before that was on gay pig, like the animal masculinities, and I don't know what that is, but we couldn't even read the abstract on air. It would be X-rated, and we paid for this.
Charlotte, what the government might say here is that the academic sector needs to be independent of political influence, that money is given to all research and politicians, political activists shouldn't be picking and choosing what gets researched and what doesn't. This should all be independent and for the universities to decide. What do you say to that?
They love saying this as an excuse. What we've got, because the university system is just emblematic of what's going on in local government, policing, NHS. This quangoification, or whatever you want to call it, of Britain, that happened under Tony Blair. It's a way of avoiding accountability. You know, the argument for, as you say, is sort of, let the experts decide, give it to them. But they just go rogue, they're unaccountable. We're just giving all this money to faceless bureaucrats, and they are funding. It goes much further than this, but it's a left-wing patronage system of funding stuff that I feel like your viewers would have to drink shots to get over if they knew the whole of what we're funding. It's staggering.
Well, now Trump and Musk have turned their audit powers to officials. They say top bureaucrats in the US earning six-figure salaries are somehow amassing huge fortunes.
If the bureaucracy is in charge, then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy.
Entrepreneur Rob Moore says the UK needs its own Doge to uncover and then slash what he calls heinous wastage.
What I love about what Elon Musk is doing in America is he's basically open sourcing government spending. And surely as the taxpayer, as the funder of government, we should see exactly where our money goes. And, we're told we can, but all you can see is a little leaderboard of the top 10 places that the money goes. But they spent 10 million on making a concrete tunnel to preserve bats in the HS2. And if while how many people are going to the winter fuel allowance that's gone? How many old people are going to die because of that, yet we spent 10 billion trying to preserve bats?
Yeah, and again, I say this all the time. If we just put any of this to a vote, we know what result we'd get. Bats are old people. right? And everyone, pretty much, probably be a few bat fanatics out there, don't get me wrong. Chris Packham, I imagine. But most of us, like the overwhelming majority of us, would back old people not freezing to death in their own homes. But they don't put any of this to a vote, do they? Instead, we just build the bat tunnel and we freeze the pensioners. It's absolutely monstrous as far as I'm concerned.